I've recorded to the cloud, so just a moment. We've gone live on Facebook. Guys, I'll put for you some music as we wait for 5 minutes. Angela, what type of music do you like?
For copyright issues, we had chosen African instrumental sound that we had shared also on the group.
Okay, let me check it out.
Yeah. Please, thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, we are here, the first webinar of the year. My name is Amakove Wala, and I'm really, really excited to have you guys. It's mark on time, 7:30, and you know my rule. I start on time, I end on time. And really happy to see everyone who's joined in. We have participants on the webinar. We have participants also on LinkedIn. So I'll keep on checking my gadget. Don't think I am doing anything apart from just checking if there are any comments coming from there. Let me give an introduction of myself. My name is Amakove Wala, and I'm really, really happy to have you guys on board. This is another exciting webinar series where we are touching on thriving 2025. 2024, at least for me, was quite hectic. And seeing that things are not improving, we have to make lemonade out of the lemons that life is serving us. And that's why we are here with this webinar with the lovely Dr. Angela Gishaga, who's really, really geared up to talk to us today. The topic of this is Take Off 2020, Thrive. Take Off 2020 Thrive. We are going to have two webinars. So the first one is today. So thank you for being here. We'll let you know when the second one is. And it's going to be about how can we thrive holistically. So Angela, I don't want to take a lot of time. Before we dive in, let me, instead of asking you to say who you were, I'll just ask that you tell us what's the first thing you do every morning to set the tone of the day for yourself. Angela, you may unmute. Yes, karibu sana.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for spending your time with us. We don't take it for granted. Thank you, and thanks so much, Amakove, for hosting us today. We are really excited. What do I do in the morning? The first thing I do, the first thing I do in the morning is pray. I commit my day to God, because again, there's a fallacy of control. You know, I have all these plans and I have all these journals and I have all these priorities, but at the end of the day, I know He's the one who has the full control. And so I submit my plans and I tell Him, look, this is what I want to do. Give me this or give me better.
Okay. And another thing, what is your favorite go-to song when you need a quick energy boost?
Favorite go-to song for a
Angela?
quick energy boost? I think it depends on the mood. So if I want to just renew myself and not to get too excited. I really like old school. And so anything like um huh Eve, the old Eve songs, really. If I want real excitement, I go to Issa, I go to like really old school songs. If I'm looking to like get really pumped up, I love Afrobeats. I love me some Burna Boy. I do also. I know. Do you know anyway? Let us not get distracted. I love Burna Boy. I love listening to different African songs. If I'm feeling like life is getting challenging, especially from maybe the different work I do on global stages, and I'm reminding myself, why do I do what I do? I love listening to folks like Oliver Mtukudzi. I love listening to, just like really, Angelique Kidjo. So like when I want to re-inspire myself with Pan-Africanism.
Okay. So before we dive into the topic, and thank you for that, please stop sharing the poster so that we can have a full engagement with the team. Yes, great. So now we are seeing each other. So maybe the formal bit. Who is Angela? Daktari.
Who's Angela? Angela is someone who's on a lifelong journey of living intentionally, becoming the best version of herself, and uplifting people as I go, as much as I can. I'm the kind of person who's all in, right? So I
Yeah.
always give my best. And so what that has meant over time is that I have had great triumphs, but I've also failed spectacularly
Mhm.
along the journey.
Tell us about that.
And and I think also what I would say is that because I'm not quite sure how many days God has granted me, I'm like, I'm gonna feel all my days really well. So I live
Mm.
that through um, the leadership development work that I do. I'm really focused on empowering and supporting young people and women, especially from Africa, to get positions locally, regionally, and globally. I do that as a coach and an executive coach. I currently run about 3 entities in different ways, and I serve on global boards. I mean, I look for every avenue to have impact, both micro impact one-on-one with executive coaching, but also macro impact in terms of global, on a global scale.
Okay. So are you a real medical doctor?
Well,
That's the question I get all
there
the
are
time.
those who
So
seem
doing
to
all these
doubt.
other things. Yeah. Okay. So Ben, being a medical doctor, juggling all these very wonderful positions that you're doing professionally at and also at a personal level, what drove you towards this leadership and executive coaching journey? And I know if you're able to speak to it, especially on the certification bit, because everyone is a motivational speaker nowadays. So I start my Coven Cottage and suddenly I'm a motivational speaker on setting up Airbnbs, or I do this, I have a weight loss journey and suddenly I'm advising people on nutrition. So tell us
Mm.
about your coaching journey.
Great. This is not going to be one of those stories of I started my multi-billion Kenya shilling business with one feather
Mhm.
of cuckoo farming.
Mm.
Um, I'm the kind of person who has always been the sounding board for many people, including some of my friends. And I never really thought much about it. I am quite a cerebral person. I love thinking. I love big picture. I like those are things I like. Those are the kind of conversation I really enjoy. And then I like getting things done. So when I entered the professional space, my first role, I was very young, like I was extremely like 15 years ago, I had the opportunity to lead my first team. And 100% of my team were older than me. Like I had a budget, I had strategy to kind of figure out and plans. It was a very bureaucratic context as well. And so I really struggled. I struggled because I didn't fully understand what it meant to show up authentically. I thought it was show my up as exactly as I am, which is not what this it authentically means in leadership. I struggled because I didn't know boundaries, and I made some mistakes. I made some mistakes along the way, and so over time I got different leadership roles. I learned, I studied, I was mentored, and then I got coaching
Mm.
for the first time. So I actually received coaching, and coaching was so transformational for me in so many ways. It helped me transition my career. I left the government and joined a new role. I never thought I would ever leave government. I was so obsessed and in love with government. Technically, I work with government still every day, but I left the actual civil service.
Yeah.
And coaching was able to help me understand that I wasn't actually thriving in that context. And then also, I realized that coaching challenged me, right? It was more of
Mm.
like, okay, am I really living to the full potential that I can offer? And I felt like coaching was what I needed then. And I have been receiving coaching ever since. And so when I saw the
Mhm.
transformation in myself and my leadership journey, and not just within leadership, but all across my life, this is something I was like, I want to do this. I want to become a coach. I want to be able to support and challenge other people in their journeys as well. So that's how I found myself into coaching. I was coached. I saw
Mhm.
the impact, and I said I want to take this to scale where possible.
Oh, good. So we'll pack the question about, I think you mentioned that your coaching is continuous. I must admit that I have undergone coaching, But for me, it was very, very time bound. And after that, I was like, you know what? I need a break. I need now to practice what I've been coached. So I've not really thought about a continuous coaching journey where you keep on going on. But we pack that one first. There are these two terminologies that I use interchangeably, and I don't know whether they mean the same. The difference between coaching and mentorship.
Awesome, great. I know you packed the question, but I want to
Yeah.
bring it out of
Okay,
packing
cool.
because
Do
it's
that.
related.
Yeah.
And I think I may have miscommunicated.
Okay.
I don't continuously go through coaching. I have a
Okay.
coach that I go to when like I have something to work on. I have a
Yes.
transition I want to make. I want like there's a big change. I go
Mm-hmm.
and I'm actually coached. So the same way we
Okay.
say
Okay. Cool.
mganga hajigangi, which doctor does not which doctor themselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
when I have major decisions to make in my life, I go to a coach to help me think through it. And so I'm not always on coaching, so you're right. And that's one of the differences between coaching and mentorship.
Mhm.
Coaching is very time bound. It's very objective focused. You're working towards something or working on something, and
Mhm.
so it's very goal oriented. Whereas a mentor you can have a mentor for a long period of time, right? Another difference between a coach and a mentor is a coach. Um, Ideally someone who is certified and has gotten training, so they don't have to have gone through the journey that you're going through. They don't have to be on the same path career wise or in any different area of your life. Because they've received the certification and training, they know how to help you meet yourself and bring out the best of yourself in that
Mhm.
journey. However, a mentor is someone who you look up to, someone who probably has gone before you in a particular journey, whether spiritually or career-wise or life-wise, someone
Mhm.
who is from that experience is helping you to follow them in that path, right?
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
that's the second difference. The third difference between coaching and mentorship is that coaching is about reflection.
Yeah.
A coach's role is to ask deep questions that then stimulate and engage you and make you reflect.
Mhm.
It's a coach is like a mirror,
Mhm.
right? A mirror that is held up to you. And so, one, you're able to focus on yourself. We wear so many hats in life. And what that means is that we don't have enough time to reflect. And so, a coach is a time where you can focus on yourself and look at yourself in the mirror, right? And focus on yourself. Secondly, see yourself as you truly are. And I like this. I came with some of my gadgets. People who I coach
Yeah.
know I love these things. Most people are walking around life like this, right?
Oh, masks. Yeah.
And the work of coaching is that we are all diamonds in the rough. Okay?
Wow.
So this is us before coaching.
Mhm.
We are living, we look like we're okay, but the truth
Mhm.
is there's so much more preciousness that is underneath. And the role that coaching can play, and that's why coaching is so powerful, it helps you take the coal that you have and make it into and to discover the diamond that is under that coal. And that's one thing I also like about coaching. And so it's about questions and reflection. The last thing I'll say about coaching is the difference with mentorship is instructional. The person who is mentoring you is like, you need to do these 5 things to get to where I was, to know how I used to do what I used to do, right? So that's the difference.
Wow. That's so so deep. The difference between the two masks that we walk around, we are all this checking boxes for other people, and then this person comes and helps us to refine, to shed off. I'm sure it's a painful process. It means the coachee has to commit, number one, to that process. And number two, the coachee has to be open to doing the hard work. Because I think many of us are looking for quick solutions like, oh, I've seen Angela, she's thriving in the global health space. I need to get to where she is. What do I need to do? And not forgetting that you have, over the years, you spoke about 15 years experience and done, so many other pitfalls here and there that we don't necessarily share. In fact, in this space of social media where it's all about showing the best side of us, do you feel like we are sort of living very artificial lives, that the real us, we have the pressure to be like people who are showing the successful side of them, that we don't have time to really see, look, this is the real life. It's different from social media.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Amakove. And the truth is, it's two elements, right? Some of us are scared to meet ourselves, right?
Mhm,
We think we know ourselves, but we've
mhm.
never intentionally spent time to become self-aware. And
Yep.
so we live life to minute by minute, day by day. We think life is, oh, society, this faceless, labelless society tells you, okay, go to school. Okay, now get married. Now, okay, produce children. Okay, now this is, and so you are living out a script as prescribed to you by
Mhm.
people who you can't actually name one by one. So many of
Yeah.
us are very scared to meet ourselves. And so that's the first part. And that's why we may not know it, but a number of us are actually living fake lives.
Mhm.
We don't know ourselves. We don't know our orientation. We don't fully understand our values and our belief system. That's how you end up in a job that maybe sometimes you're so frustrated. It's not always the case, but you're so angry and I can't. But it was not a good fit from the beginning.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
know your
Yeah.
personality. You didn't connect with the right role, with the right team to show up in your best way, right?
Mhm.
I also perceive that there is what you're saying, quite a lot of fakeness of trying to show someone like, oh, this is the real life, but because people want to see the glory of leadership. And it's something I talk about quite often on our pages and in a lot of my leadership development training, is that there is a glory of leadership. But the challenge becomes people want leadership because they want the glory, they want the title, they want the extra commas and zeros in their paychecks. They want all the trappings that come with leadership.
Mhm.
And so people want to, once you achieve it, because you really worked towards it, and then you get there and you realize, oh my gosh, yes, there is the extra commas, there is the title, but guess what? There's sacrifice. You sacrifice yourself, and you put other people before you. You sacrifice your personal time. You sacrifice your health. There's so many sacrifices you will make on the journey to and being a leader on a day-to-day basis. But
Mhm.
now, because I struggled to get there, and I got there because I had seen the glory of leadership, when I experienced the glory of leadership, two things happen. I'm like, there must be something I'm doing wrong. Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I want to exit. Or I'm like, no, there's no way I have worked so hard for this. And then I come to suffer and show people I'm suffering. So I will show the glory part of things and really ignore the glory. And that is reflected in leadership and in all aspects of our life, whether it's growth in different areas, that's a challenge. So we don't know ourselves. And then we aim for fake stories. And when we get there and we see the reality, we're not willing to embrace that and be very honest about that.
Oh, that's deep. I keep on getting snippets of words that you throw so casually, like it's so natural, not casually, but naturally, like the glory of leadership and the gory of leadership. And boy, haven't I seen the gory of leadership. So I want us to dive into the topic of the day, striving.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'll give an example of my own life. 2024 especially, I
Mm.
jumped a year, 2 years ago, I jumped into self-employment from the echelons of glory of leadership into self-employment. And one of the things, I'll start with the positive, because I was told to do a sandwich approach. So I'm applying my coaching feedback from my very good executive coach. So the good thing of it is that I got to find myself. And I think as you spoke, it was really resonating with me that I got into this very wonderful position, very good
Mm.
000s.
Mhm.
But I had lost myself, my passion for social impact and
Mhm.
change and being out there. The role wasn't giving me that. And I remember
Mm.
Sundays, I just dread Sunday evenings because I'd start having headaches because I know Monday is back to work. So
Mhm.
that fact that I am thriving in my space, that I'm enjoying the little steps that I'm putting forward, that is a very, very positive for me. Then the negative is, of course, when you don't have the reassurance of a paycheck. There are several things that happen. One, you eat into your savings if things go wrong, you start borrowing, or you get into these other things, or you diversify into things that you really don't drive you, but they give you the money. So that's the downside, I think, of especially startups. So maybe people have been there much longer, have a more stable kind of, let's say, income stream. A lot of it is around the income stream. And then another positive is that I get to see things thriving. I get to see the small steps, and I think you will talk about documenting this. They say if you want to eat an elephant, you chop it up into pieces. So when you see the elephant, it's so daunting, but then when you break it down, it's possible. So I think that's the positive of it. So 2024 was very rough for many of us who are in business, and I remember the first half, and I used to be like, "Oh, did I make a mistake? And should I go back into employment and whatnot?" And somehow, all the places I kept on applying, none of them were even acknowledging receipts. This is someone who, you know, jobs would fly past me when I was employed. Now that I'm looking forward to going back just because of survival, the responses, maybe I'm also much older, there are much younger people who've come in with a lot of energy. So 2024 was particularly tough, and I got to towards the end, I got to start catching myself to say, you know what? What's the attitude I'm having? One, towards money, towards my situation, towards, because there's something about speaking words into power. And I realized I was basically on survival mode. So 2025, I have told myself, you know what? If I didn't die in 20, die quote unquote, in 2024, especially the first half, I don't think there's anything that's gonna be thrown against me that will take me down. So I want to thrive. But what is this word thriving? Angela,
Yeah.
we've talked about
Mm,
2025. This is the year
yes.
of thriving. What does it mean to thrive? Thank you. And
Yeah.
before you
So,
start, let me
yeah.
just give a quick one. The participants on the webinar, feel free to use the Q&A question or the chat, and we will be
Mm.
responding. The participants on the Facebook Live on my page, feel free to also chat there. Someone else is monitoring that. Go ahead, Angela.
No problem, and it's interesting you share that as well. And Abakobe, we've all had our processes, right? Like I said, I'm part of a number of entities which I have actually been part of starting, and I assure you, there are times if there's something that will bring you closer to your maker, is that transition from someone paying you to actually being your first employee number one. And
Mhm,
then you start growing, and then you start having payroll, and you're wondering, where are the salaries of all these people going to come from?
mhm,
And then you come on the other side, and then you overcome, but then another opportunity arises for you to grow. What is holistic thriving? For me, thriving holistically is this good, it's having a good relationship with yourself and having a good relationship with your ecosystem or surrounding. And what does that actually mean? A good relationship with yourself is a recognition that you are whole and you're
mhm,
valuable because you are whole, and you're uniquely different because you are whole. And when we say whole, it's about the fact that different parts of your life are valuable to making you whole. So if it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's intellectual, it's financial, it's that is part of who you are, and
mhm,
all those parts are important.
mhm,
But then you don't exist as an island, and so you are actually part of a larger system, either environmental system or a social cultural system. So thriving for me is the idea that across all these different areas, on average, in
Thank you for
different
that.
seasons, let's be clear, on average, in different seasons, that we are growing and improving in all these areas. Not all at the same time, consequently, right? But over a period of time, you give these different areas their focus so that overall you grow and thrive. So that for me is holistic thriving, that you're not ignoring any important aspect of your life.
So if I have an area of my life, so for example, mine, I'll keep on giving example because it's
It's
mine.
your reality, yeah.
It's mine,
Your
and I'm not talking about things.
current reality, yes.
Yes, yes. So this,
Mm,
when you say the different spheres, like for me, it will be business, one.
mm-hmm, mm,
Two is parenting.
mm-hmm,
Three is relationships, my
yeah,
relationships,
mm-hmm,
both sexual and familial.
yeah,
Four would be spiritual.
yeah.
I'm looking the other five. Five would be what? Is financial part of
Yeah, it's part of who you are.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What
So,
about your mental?
oh my
Remember, you
goodness,
went through, yes, you just told us that 2024
yeah,
was an interesting year.
exactly, exactly, exactly. Yes, and
Yeah.
the thing about the mental is
Mm-hmm,
I know the power of the mind towards
mm-hmm,
breaking down your body if it's not stable. And so, and I've been hospitalized and I've spoken about this before because
mm-hmm,
of whatever issues I was going through at the time. But I
mm-hmm,
was not recognizing that these pressures or these stresses were actually affecting me to the point of being physically unwell. So
mm-hmm,
um, the thing about thriving holistically, I think one of the things that I kept on appreciating last year, despite it being very heavy for me financially, is that
mm-hmm,
mentally I was okay with the decisions I'd made about my professional life.
mm-hmm,
Health wise, we were all
mm-hmm,
fine, my children and I. And
mm-hmm.
those things, I kept on hanging on to them because I think we don't put
Yeah.
so much value until you lose
Yes.
that that ability to be able to just go about your business without
Mm-hmm.
having to keep on seeking medical advice. So the holistic bit is very, very important. But tell me, so you've put down a couple of things in a
Mm-hmm.
book. Actually, I had the gift here, guys.
Ooh.
So tell us about enable advisors, and then we'll go into that journal. So how do we thrive this 2025? Some of the
Yeah.
pointers we can have.
So I think, first of all, Enable Advisors is the my leadership development and coaching company that I ran with my associates, and was really around this intentionality about supporting people in their journey to optimize their performance in all areas of their life. Now, I want to keep emphasizing, on average, over time, right? Like you said, there will be a time and a season where one aspect of your life is thriving, and other aspect is what you're focusing on, and then the season changes and it's vice versa. So I usually have a tension with this idea of balance, and we have, how do I achieve the perfect balance? You don't, in my view, you don't balance, it's
Mhm,
balancing. Right now, you've given your time, Mama Kobe. We are here on this webinar. You're showing
mhm,
up very well for one of your businesses, but your
mhm,
children are also in your house, right? So in these few minutes,
mhm,
you are here, but you're not there. But after this, you will be there, and I think that just encompassing that. That
mhm,
said, so as enable advisors, we realize two things. My coaching model is around, again, holistic thriving, and how do I support people to thrive holistically. And I realized that one of the reasons why people were not thriving holistically is because they were not seeing their life and planning their life holistically, right? And so, as enable advisors, we have two tools that we support our people who are going through our leadership development programs, and also our coaching, yeah, and our master classes. So the first one is, we have the Optimized Life System Journal, and I'll go through it. And it actually has content that helps you think about all the areas of life that you talked about, so that you are conscious of how to grow in all those areas. This is the one I used in Rainbow. I have used it for 2 years. It has seen life. You can see it's being held together by
oh.
good good spirits. one of the ways in actually thriving holistically is you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional. And that means that you have to be effective in setting your goals. So, how do you
Mhm.
become effective in setting your goals? And how do you also overcome the barriers of being ineffective in terms of meeting the challenges of meeting your goals? So, for ease of reference, there's so many ways we can think about it, but I want to talk about 4 C's. What are the 4 C's of realistic and meaningful goal setting for 2025? One, you need to contemplate. Two,
Mhm.
you need to codify. Three, you need to connect. And four, you need to have community. I'll go through them. The
Yeah,
first one
yeah.
is contemplate. What does
Mhm.
contemplate mean? Contemplate means reflection. You must reflect. Where am I coming from? You shared your story, Amakove.
Yeah.
Last year was this kind of year. This area thrived, but then the financial area did not thrive. So coming into 2025, you can be intentional about this area of your life, which is finances.
Mhm.
I think it's reflection is so critical because an unexamined mind is something
Mhm.
that you will not be intentional about your living. And so you have to contemplate. The second one is codify. And codify simply means you have to state your goals. And neuroscience really, really supports this. It's
Mhm.
writing down your goals. By the action of writing, you're telling your brain that this is something you're committing to. You can write digitally, you can write with a pen. Creating vision boards. Now, I have my issues and there's some shortcomings of vision boards, but the idea behind vision boards is actually really good and it's rooted in neuroscience. I see your beautiful vision board
Yeah, yeah,
behind you.
yeah. My
It's
is
so
a
good.
vision board. That's okay.
Exactly. And the thing is, people, you are a visual person, but actually all of us have been created because our brain has two things. It's called one, neuroplasticity, and two, value tagging. What does that mean? First, the neuroplasticity is the fact that when your brain sees a picture of you in a future state or in a way that you want to be, sometimes the brain is not able to realize that that is an image and it's not real. It says, "Oh, this is real. This is what we are working towards," and it actually starts making you be conscious of your environment and actions you need to take. That's why one vision boards sometimes work. Two, value tagging. The way the brain was created, it prioritizes images over words, right? And so if you have something that you're constantly looking at, your vision board on your wall, the vision
Mm.
board that we have in the journal, the vision board that you will save on your phone screen, every time you're opening it, you see it, it reinforces that. So codifying your goals is so important. Three, connect. We take goal setting as a very brain and logical action. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. But the truth is, you need to go down to the why because we have three brains. We have our head brain, we have our heart brain, and we have our gut brain. The world and society emphasizes our head brain because of logic. But the truth is, why do you actually want that job? Right? Is it
Mhm.
the title? But why the title? It'll help you feel important, or you want the job because you want more free time to spend with your family. You have to connect emotion to your goals because it's the feeling you're chasing. It's the experience
Mhm.
you're chasing, not the goal in itself. So the job is important, but the reason why you want the job is actually what's going to keep you committed to the job. So think about connecting your goals, not just with the logical, I want to get a raise, but think about it, I want to get a raise because I want to live in a house and I want to feel like I have a home. That's the motivation, right?
Mhm.
And the
Mhm.
fourth thing I want to talk about in terms of the goal setting is community. Again, when we sit down to put our goals down, we are always focused about what do I want to achieve? What do I want for me? What am I pushing for? What am I moving towards? We are part of a system. Remember, holistic thriving.
Mhm.
Me, but then me as part of a bigger system. And so two
Mhm.
things we need to think about in terms of community. One, you're not just doing this alone. You have a support system. How are
Mhm.
you bringing your support system along your goal, setting your goal as you move towards your goals? And the second thing is, it's not just about what do I gain, but also what can I give to the system within which I live? How can I create that impact? So, in terms of those are the 4 C's that can really help you think through how to make your goals. But there are four C's that make us then, we can face challenges when we're making and tracking our goals. And the four C's I think about are the obstacles we can often check and encounter. The four C, the first one is cadence. And cadence is
Hidden.
about cadence. Yes, this school fees, we must use it. Huh? It was very common thing. Cadence is about time and the way time works. And for me, there are three things I think
How do you
about when
spell
people are
that?
setting their goals. Yeah. And I think
Sorry,
Sharon is
Angela.
repeating some of those things. Huh?
How do you spell that?
CADENCE.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Cadence.
Oh, learn something.
I am, as you can tell, my age. I'm not the yeah.
Yeah,
So I cannot
yeah.
help with homework. I am not the one.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
the one. I'm not the one for homework. And this around timing is very interesting because I don't believe we spend enough time planning. I really don't think we spend enough time planning. Right now, all over social media, people have their vision boards. But when you ask them, oh, so how long did it take to give your vision board? Oh, I sat in Saturday morning, and in Saturday morning, I made my vision board for the year. I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
you spent 4 hours to plan for about 8,760 hours. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
you all 4 hours? Really? To plan your whole year? So I don't think we spend enough time.
Yeah.
Secondly, in terms of time, either we are not dreaming big enough,
Mm-hmm.
because honestly, let me ask you, Amakove, are you telling me that all your dreams can be achieved in 2025?
No,
But why are you only developing a vision board for 2025?
because everyone is. Oh, I think.
And that's the thing, right? Vision are long term, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can have annual goals. And then, of course, that's why in the journal as well, we have a section which I'll walk through that talks about the annual goals. But the truth is, our vision is long term. Some of our goals are very big. They will not be achieved in a year, but we must start in 2025 because our goal is big. It has multiple steps, and some of these steps are sequential. So
Mm-hmm.
if I want a promotion at work, it means I have to do my master's. It means I have to know which job I have. Now, there's no way you'll start, oh, I'm getting a promotion and I don't know the job and it's not vacant and then I want to do my master. You get it, and putting all that in a vision board, it's good to be ambitious, but we also have to be realistic. Yes, you can get a job in a new year. Yes, you can get a promotion. But I perceive that some of our dreams are so big, but because they don't fit neatly in the 1 year, time frame, we tend to not actually put them on our vision board. So they keep being kicked down the line. Yet you need to start working on your big goals this year. The second thing is chase. 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 And this thing around chasing is we have to start what we said we're going to do, and we have to keep at it. So the motivation and discipline of goals. Now, people overemphasize on discipline, but I feel like motivation has gotten a bad repetition. Motivation is not just good enough for starting. Motivation is so important for keeping us excited about our goals. So how will you motivate yourself? Quotes, songs, dancing, put that in your vision board. What will you listen to motivate yourself? Yeah.
Yeah. How many C's were those? I thought there were four. There were going to be.
There were four. I want to continue, but I was pausing. I
Okay.
was
I was
pausing.
like, I think I still recollect.
Thank you.
Okay,
A
good.
student, we see you. We
Yeah.
see you. We celebrate you. In
Uh-huh.
fact, the third C is celebrate. And this
Oh,
is
okay.
also somewhere I challenge people
Mhm.
because the thing around end of last year, everyone's like, oh, my 2024 vision board, and just being there excited about everything that you achieved. But there are things you didn't achieve. But were you really at zero? How do we learn to celebrate milestones and
Mhm.
also celebrate wins in life? This is not the workplace and organizational G targets.
Mhm.
In life, almost does count. So let's learn to celebrate. Otherwise, we'll discourage ourselves in the journey. And the last fourth is calibrate. Keep
Mhm.
track of your goals and then adjust accordingly. There's a fallacy of control. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, last year, even me, my finances. If you see
Mhm.
this book here, which is my finances were written in pencil. Penciling. Okay?
Yeah.
Pencil. Every month, someone has added a new tax. I don't know, a new what. I was like, who is keeping track? Me, I can't keep track. My financial advisor can't keep track of how this income is just changing on a monthly basis. Huh? So we can't control the external environment, but we can control how we respond to it. And that's why keeping track of your goals is so important.
Wow. I was checking as you kept on talking, I kept on like saying, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I suffer from this syndrome and whatnot. But at least I celebrate. That one for sure, I do celebrate. So, but what I don't do, Angela, and this is where you can help us. So
Mhm.
I start by having this project. Okay, I'm one of the spa of the moment kind of people. I can start something without any plan. And
Yeah.
I know if I had a coach like you, I would be like, are you really sure? Have you thought about this? So how do we plan? Talk to me as a client, because our guys were very good planners. Like I've seen your book and I remember asking you, are you the type who writes with a blue, there's a blue pen, there's a black one, and then a red one? And in my head, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how does someone even remember how to put down the blue pen and pick the red one and whatnot? So that is how your mind figures. Now, my mind works in very differently in terms of very big pictures and, you
Mhm.
know, visions and whatnot. And my heart brain works much, much more than the, the the brain itself. So how can I, who's
Mm.
more into pictures, who's more into feelings, into this is a gut feeling. I don't have the
Mhm.
logic, I don't have the plan, the ROI and whatever, but I know it's gonna
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
How can I come down to, because in reality, when you're, let's say,
Mm.
seeking for funding or partners or
Mhm.
whatnot, you have
Yeah.
to speak
Yeah.
logic at the end of the day. So how
Yes.
can I get into this habit of documentation, putting down my thoughts, and even if it's even in figures or diagrams,
Mhm.
and get into that habit, cultivate that habit, because for sure I do need to do that.
Yeah. So first of all, you are right. Those people who every goal has is color coded. If you can
Yeah,
see
you
here,
see, I
every
can see
section,
it.
every goal color coded. Even my
Yeah.
day-to-day list color coded. And
Mhm.
what you need at Makove is a tool. And I'll share my screen just
Okay.
to walk us through how there's a digital version of our optimized life system which is fillable, and of course we have the hard copy version as well. I like to write, but there are people who really like the digital version. So for you, Amakove,
Mhm.
yes, of course here you can write your name and all that. It's okay to be big picture. We've given the heart brain people and the gut brain people a bad reputation in the world because the world is more head brain logical. But
Mm.
the truth is, this is where you can start,
Mhm.
right? And the letter to self is here, you can type what you want, but there are
Mm.
people who send verbal letters to self,
Mhm.
right? And they start with in the future, this dream you have, what are you seeing? I am seeing that there's going to be this business that's going to be like this, and it's going to have this kind of clients, and this because even the pictures you're seeing in your head, you can
Mhm.
articulate in words what
Yeah.
that is. Put that down somewhere. And
Mhm.
then you come, this is what you're seeing in the future, and you type it down here. And then you
Mhm.
come back to the previous place and say, okay, in the previous slide and say, okay, today, where am I? So that you can identify the gap, right?
Mhm.
However, as you said, you're more of a picture person. So come to the vision board. And we've created
Mhm.
so many pages with the vision board. Here you can put your pictures. Those pictures you have on your wall, cut them. The end
Mm.
product, what you're seeing in your mind, find a picture online, add it here, add it to
Mm.
your vision board. Then
Mm.
say, okay, great. I've put all these pictures. Are you seeing all these pictures are just vision board pictures? Eh? Then you come here and say, okay, how will I achieve this? Right? Maybe it's just going to need, it's a career business and it needs finances. You can see in the journal, we didn't even put so much time because another thing is sometimes we put 15,000 goals. My friend, it is 365 days. Okay, so let's be realistic. Start there. Who said you have to have all goals in all areas of your life from day one? No.
Mm.
What you have right now is a business goal. And so start there and say, okay, this is a project. And so by the end of the year, I want to have broken ground. I want to have secured funding. You put it there. And that's it. That's it. That's fine. As
Oh,
the
I
year
needed to
goes,
fill the whole page. And
no.
yeah.
First of all, this idea, let's think about life and a
Mm-hmm.
year as 12 chapters, 365 pages. Every new day, you open a new page. And in the new page, you can revisit, you can recalibrate. Now, I'm not saying keep changing your goals every day, no, but I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
life will happen and there's room to adjust. As you
Mm-hmm.
start working on your career and business, you start realizing, hey, I'm spending so much time on the site. Hey, what happens? Hey, what about my children? Then you come down here to relationships, right? And you'll come down to
Mm-hmm.
relationships and be like, I need to do something about my relationships. Then you realize, oh, now I'm getting backache, I'm traveling so long. Let me put a goal here for health and fitness. So life will prompt you to fill the other areas because you'll start noticing the gaps in other areas.
Okay, okay,
You talked
okay.
about the financial, last year being a tricky financial year.
Mm.
Here we have such a detailed planner that is so good for not just planning, but also tracking. It's broken down to so many areas. And as you calculate, your gross income is 2 shillings.
Mm-hmm.
Here, a note. Dividends are 1 shilling. Others are 0.5. As you
Mm-hmm.
fill this in, it automatically calculates. Then you
Uh-huh.
can list all your expenses here, right? And you can share, okay, is it tithe? Is it mortgage? There's some things we always forget. In these insurances that seem to come out from nowhere. No, we all know we are insured every year, but somehow we tend to forget. How do we put them in the planner so that then when the time they're due, we are not wondering how to get the money?
Mm-hmm.
The last thing
That,
I'll say, as you're saying this, is there are so many areas here you can journal. What do you want to see? And then you can get somewhere where you're thinking about how do I make these annual long-term goals into a goal for the month. So what's the one thing I'll do towards that goal this month? Just one thing. And then
mm-hmm.
you can proceed. The last thing you said is that you like being
Mm.
motivated, sorry. The thing I love this journal is because not only does it let you put your priorities down, has so much motivation along the way. Motivational quotes. It's also very beautiful, by the way, thanks to Sharon and the team. It has motivational words. Go, just do it. Dreams won't work until you do. It keeps you on track. So I want to encourage us today. You don't have to see the full staircase from day one. First 2 steps, put your 2 goals. Next 2 steps, put your 2 goals, and you can proceed in that way.
Mm. Mm. I think you can turn off your video froze a bit, but
Can you see me
okay.
now?
So what I love about yeah. So for those of us with gadgets, the real gadgets, that this is I can carry along the journal that you've given me as a hard copy. So I'll give this to someone, if you'll allow me, Angela, because I'm a digital person, so I prefer the online version. So this is like when I want to tackle a hard appointment, I actually look for colors that would would speak power, and red speaks power. So this to one lucky attendee of the webinar, because they took the time to sign up and they took the time to register and log in and remembered to log in. So this will go to one lucky viewer. But for the rest, we will share from the website of Enable Advisors. You're able to access the journals as hard copy or also as a soft copy. So the soft copy you download, I've already downloaded mine. it is a working document. As you saw, she actually was feeling live. So I didn't quite get about the financial planner. That is that is a budget. That's a budget or that's actual expenses?
It's both. So in the financial planner, you'll see there's a column which is not doesn't have a month or a date or anything to it. So you can put your
Okay.
budget there. What do I want to use for rent? Right? Then every month you have a slot,
Yeah.
right? Because remember, if 2024 has taught us anything, your income can change in a month. So and changes every other month. So you can actually adjust numbers
Mhm.
and change those numbers. So the first slot does not have a month or doesn't have timing where you can put your budget, and then you can use the other month as a expense tracker towards that budget. Some people want to use it all as a budget, others just want to use it all as a tracker. Whichever way, it's been created in a way that it's flexible to be either a budget tool or an expense tracking tool.
So I have two comments from participants on the webinar and one also from the Facebook. So Helen is saying this is not a question, it's a comment. The planning has resonated with her. She recently read a book that we spend more time planning a vacation than we do our careers. You want to comment on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think
Mhm.
it's because, to your point, what you mentioned earlier, Makove, we see all this pressure at the beginning of the year. It's like people are like, if on 1st of January you don't have your vision board up, you don't have a plan, you've lost it's such an artificial pressure we give ourselves. Start today. Why are you waiting for fast? Why didn't you plan in
Yeah,
Jamhuri Day?
yeah,
You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, you can give yourself time to plan. So I
Mhm.
completely agree. We spend so much time on other areas of our life, yet the one that maps our life, we're not spending enough time. Agreed, Helen. Thank you for that comment.
And we have an anonymous who said, what have I been doing all these years? Where I need to style up. And I told the person, me too, me too. So guys are really appreciating the conversation because it's the mundane things. It's nothing, it's not rocket science. So the way, plus I like the fact that there's no pressure. It's not January, December. You can start anytime, you get?
Mhm.
Okay, we have
And just on
Charlie.
that, Amakove,
Yeah.
sorry, I just had a reminder for people. That's
Mm-hmm.
why the journal is undated. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have dates here. We just have months. You fill in your month can start in June. It's
Okay.
undated. This my journal I
Yeah.
used for 2 years. 2023,
Uh-huh.
2024, my life is here. All of it. Here it
Mm-hmm.
is, my life
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years. So I also don't like this thing of you buy a journal, then oh, you've missed a month, and then that whole month is useless. No, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an economy to be wasting resources. Sorry, go ahead and back off it.
Say that again. I and
Hi, can you hear me? Am I frozen?
I can hear you.
Thanks, Sharon. So as we're waiting for Amakobe to join, yeah, let us know in the comments section. Uh, Comments, questions. What are you struggling with? What have you had? What has resonated with you as well on this call? Sharon, do you mind telling us what's in the chat? Let's see what I can see here.
Yeah, so we have a comment from Jerida Mukaya. She
Yes.
says it's a good way to start the year. Thank you, ladies.
Awesome. We're glad to be part of your journey.
Yeah. Then we have Anonymous. It's good to know that if you plan for the year, if your plan for the year is not working, you just go back to the kitchen and re-strategize instead of letting the dream go. Yes.
I mean, guys, really, this is life. We have to remain flexible and adaptable. And again, the fallacy of control. We don't know what's going to happen the next minute. We don't. We don't hold our lives in our hands, right? However, intentional living is about saying, look, I have these dreams. I know life is going to happen. I will adjust along the way, adapt and be flexible to go towards the dream. And we are in life. You can dream a new dream. Not every time you dream a new dream as well. Then like that's avoidant behavior, which you can also sort out in with coaching and counseling. But there's something to be said around remaining flexible along the journey. Thank you so much, Sharon. Another comment or question?
From Purity Minor. I have had a hard time with the calibrate part. Does it mean I have to do it daily?
Okay, good question. I'll respond and talk about calibrate a bit again. And calibrate is about tracking. And no, you don't have to track daily. I think there are things that you can track daily. And I think the finance people are like, oh, track your expenses daily to see where your money goes. That's fine. I don't think if you're trying to get a promotion, you track every day how far are you towards a promotion. Or if you're trying to, maybe lose some weight, every day you're standing on a scale. Some of these things take time. So you don't have to track daily. But calibrating is about fast tracking. Then as you track, looking at the trend towards which are you moving towards your goal or are you moving away from your goal? So if you're moving towards your goal, great, celebrate the milestone, keep going. If you're moving away from your goal, pause, not stop. Pause, look at your goal, look at where you are, and ask yourself, is it a me issue and there's something I need to change? Or is it a goal issue that needs to change? There has to be changes that happen. And that's where the calibration comes in. So it's not every day you're calibrating. Because if you keep changing the goal every day, then you're not actually moving to go anywhere. And it beats the purpose of planning. I hope that gives you some guidance.
Okay, we have very many comments and questions coming in. So for Helen, she says, I think I do too many things. Need to do better about establishing boundaries. I feel like she's talking to me. And
We all have them. Helen, let me just tell you, I've been doing this for a long time. I coach people on planning. I showed people like this thing here. You see, the space is kidogo, but I was able to feel a whole bunch of things there. We have many dreams. It's not bad to have many dreams, and it's not bad to put them down. Some of them some things will happen, you'll meet your goals. Some things you even didn't dream about will happen. What I feel is that you can have a list of things, but really for all your areas of life, at least have one thing. That one thing you're like, man, 2025 don't let it not end without me achieving this, right? If it's spending more time with people who are important to you, the people you love, let that be it. Like that is the one. You have other relationship goals, but that's the one you really commit yourself to achieving, and you held yourself strongly accountable for that, right? So I don't encourage having more than two goals per area as the big goals you're working, because life will happen and other things will come and you'll still do things that you hadn't planned to do. Something else, Sharon?
Yes, from Anonymous. The struggle with
Yes.
being consistent. Usually
Yes.
one starts with a lot of psych and then down the line feel guilty for not being true. What tips can you advise for one to maintain the momentum and to not lose hope?
Awesome. One, motivation. We think motivation is only relevant for starting, but actually, even though discipline is a key trait for commitment, motivation has a role. And so what do? For me, for my goals, and what works for me is one, when I have a goal, I find something that will motivate me for that goal. So first I combine with, why do I want this? Why do I want this pair of shoe? Okay, it is because it goes with that dress and it makes me feel like I am the person, right? And so I connect it to the emotion. And so every time I look at it, I want to buy that shoe, I feel the emotion and it motivates me. Secondly, the second comment around how do I keep motivated? Find what motivates you. Some people need to be told, encouraging words. Maybe there's no one telling you encouraging words. Get the journal. Get the journal. And as you're writing your goals, you're told you exactly where you need to be. For me, as Amakove said the webinar, and I said, I love songs. And in the morning, sometimes I don't want to wake up. I know what's waiting for me on the other side, but I play that song and I'm like, I am ready for the day. So keep yourself motivated. Get a support system. Tell people your goals so that they can hold you accountable. Right? If it's more balanced eating, if it's like your 15th day of pizza with your friend, they'll be like, hey, and which balance is this in your eating? Which is the balance in this diet we are seeing, right? Again, having those accountability partners also help you keep motivated.
All right, thank you. We have a question on Facebook from Shalim Biwat. I was wondering from experience, what time for journaling has worked for you and what time is consistent?
Honestly, Shalim, that's a very good question. I am very inconsistent because I am in different time zones every other day. However, wherever I am, whatever, at the end of the day, like I said, I start my day with committing my day to God and prayer, and I feel people need to find a superpower that they connect with, whoever and whatever you refer that to. But then at the end of the day, before my head falls asleep, no matter how much jet lag I have, I spend time to reflect, and I'm like, what am I happy about the day? Okay, and I write down what I'm happy about and I'm grateful for. And that's the time I can actually journal, right? It doesn't have to be long. I'm not publishing a paper, I'm not publishing a book. It's bullet points, it's what am I committing for tomorrow, and I want to achieve what didn't happen today that didn't go according to plan. Like that before I hit, because once I wake up in the morning, like life happens. So before my head touches the pillow and my eyes close, I do try my best to reflect. Welcome back, Amakove.
Yeah, sorry, the way I did that.
Worries.
But thank you so much. I think we have covered a lot and very interesting. And it's good to hear people engaging right now. Unfortunately, our time is up. But that's the bad news. But the good news is there's a second version. 2 weeks from today, we'll send you the dates soon after this. So look out for our flyer. I want to take you to the Enable Advisors website. You'll get all the materials that Angela's been referring to, plus even a way in which you can access this. But I want to give you one homework. Angela, give us one assignment that will help us as you come back next time. One assignment
Awesome.
on goal setting.
On goal setting. Great. For me, I would like to challenge everyone to choose one area of their life and identify 2 goals that they want to set for the month between now and when we will meet end of February. So you'll have about 5 weeks in one area of your life. Choose 2 goals and make them smart and make them have the emotional connection and work towards those goals. At the end of February, we'll spend time in our webinar revisiting what worked, what didn't work, and what we need to do. So that would be my request and my assignment for everyone, and looking forward for you joining us in the next webinar.
Thank you so much, and glad to have everyone. This webinar has been recorded with your permission, of course. It will be shared on the YouTube channel for Enable Advisors. So if you need to make reference, please do so. If you need to get in touch, the Enable Advisors website will have all our contacts. and keep on chatting about goal setting. I'll have my 2 goals by the second webinar, and I'll give a report on how far I've come. Thank you and have a blessed night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.